Welcome to OTR, a friendly debate, the show where lawyers debate topics ranging from music, TV, movies, pop culture, to philosophical deep thoughts, and everything in between. Our lawyerly debaters will face off in impassioned arguments on entirely subjective topics, and the moderator decides the winner arbitrarily, where the only prize is bragging rights. And maybe, if we're feeling generous, a point or two, whatever those are worth. Anyways, our aim here is to change the hearts and minds of our listeners, but we're ultimately going to fall short every time. I'm Pat, and I'll be moderating this messy conversation that I guess qualifies as a debate between my two co-hosts, Lando and Mucci. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
All right.
I should say hi, guys, not hey, guys.
Well, whatever.
So
Already starting with me.
you dragged me.
You're already fucking starting with me.
You dragged
Start up
me
with
in
me.
10-degree weather to the studio. What topic do you bring before your humble moderator today?
This is kind of on Mucci, so...
On me?
Yeah, it's mostly on you.
Well,
Go ahead, let him know.
It's an interesting one. It's a bit of a opposite of what we would normally do. It's which one's worse, Game of Thrones Season 8 or Star Wars Episode 9. Two pop culture disasters of recent years. Actually, both in 2019, so pretty recent. Yeah. Oh, and definite spoilers this episode for both, probably.
Okay. So, off the bat, I do not give a shit about either one of these franchises. I have both topics muted on my Twitter, and I have spent no amount of time in my life remotely thinking about them. So your task, if this is really what you want to do today, is to kind of convince me of why I should care enough to be upset or disappointed that
Let's,
in your respective, property here.
should we flip a coin?
Yeah, let's flip a coin. So we got a pretty heavy novelty coin today, really reflecting the weight of this conversation. So who's going to call it?
I'll call it. Heads.
All right, let's see.
It fell on the floor.
It is tails. So
With a
Mucci's
thud.
pick.
Oh, I'll go second, actually. I'll
You
go
sure
second.
that was tails?
Yeah,
All right, I'll go first.
on my life.
I'll start off with saying I hate the Star Wars sequels. I hate them with a passion, and much of that hatred is based on hating the House of Mouse. Disney has been a huge detriment to Star Wars, to the point where Jon Favreau had to come in and try to save the day.
That is not at all what this episode's about. Counselor, keep on topic.
What I'm trying to get at is that the Mandalorian is light years ahead of the Star Wars sequels. And if they came up with a fresh story that had nothing to do with Darth Vader, then sure. But no. They wanted to keep the original characters while having nothing to do with anything that had to do with the Skywalker saga. So, in terms of the first 6 being about the rise and fall of Darth Vader, and then the sequels having nothing to do with that, I mean, but wait, so which side am I debating on?
You're saying that Game of Thrones is worse.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
The last season.
Oh, yeah, of course. So, I'm digressing then. Episode 9 had more lightsaber action than Game of Thrones Season 8. Okay. All right? And they actually had an ending. So, I mean, I guess let's forget about...
Well, I guess Star Wars isn't over, so...
Yeah, it's over. So, Game of Thrones they had some pretty good seasons where everything was leading up to something. And then it ended with, what? Bran Stark, the most useless Stark, being king or whatever. It was unprofessional, I think. It was unprofessional bullshit. And this is why no one watches HBO Max. I mean, people stopped talking about Game of Thrones the minute the finale ended. It's irrelevant.
This is actually true.
It's completely true. So that's my opening. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I knew it was coming. It still got me.
What's the other Mucci? What you got?
I forgot about it. All right, go ahead. Wait, what?
So, what do you have to say to open this?
Well, Lando is right about one thing. The Star Wars sequel trilogy was weak, and I would submit because of the way it ended, completely unnecessary. The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9, made it abundantly clear that the people in charge of this project had no idea what story they wanted to tell. Game of Thrones, on the other hand, at least knew what story it wanted to tell and how it wanted things to end. It just cut corners and rushed to get there to the point where the story moved so fast as to be pretty much nonsensical. Episode 9 of Star Wars seems aimed at appeasing the fans who were upset The Last Jedi, and ends up appeasing nobody, with the most misguided attempts at fan service ever. Palpatine is back, sort of, for absolutely no reason at all. It
Really?
decides to... Yeah. He's a clone or something, yeah. It's
Or
stupid.
something.
Or something. It decides to backtrack the concept of Rey being nobody and maybe trying to accept who she is and her place in the universe, to then make her a Palpatine by blood and a, quote, Skywalker because she just decides to be. And they had to redeem the villain who has been killing off, or responsible for killing off, our beloved original trilogy heroes.
Wait, it's a choice to be a Skywalker?
That's why it doesn't make any sense. She's I'm not nobody, I'm a Skywalker, even though I'm a Palpatine. She's his, granddaughter or something?
Something.
Something like that. But they try to redeem the hero by making him have a romance with Rey, too. It's just an utter failure of storytelling. Because
I didn't realize you were actually trying with this one.
it's just an utter failure of storytelling. Because instead of telling the fan base, hey, you may be upset at The Last Jedi, but trust us, we'll make it all pay off in the end, they instead caved to pressure and backtracked on everything that could have possibly had an interesting payoff. Imagine if Return of the Jedi said, no, Vader isn't actually Luke's father, and we're sorry for even making you think that for a second. Just an utterly cowardly capitulation to the vocal minority of irritating Star Wars fans who review bombed The Last Jedi and bullied an Asian cast member until she deleted her social media. I just lose so much respect for you when you cave to those whiny brats. Game of Thrones at least had some integrity.
Okay. So you want me to decide which of these two movies, shows, which I've never seen, is worse. Is that correct? That's the dispute here?
Yeah, maybe we should have done an SOJ.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dismiss this with prejudice. You're completely wasting my time.
Sorry.
Sorry, Pat.
Okay, so what else you got? Come on, we still got like a half an hour to fill here.
We could talk about Blink.
You always want to talk about Blink.
Yeah. Let's do
Mucci,
that.
what do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess maybe if Blink is better than Green Day?
Now you're on to something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Do you care about that topic?
I mean, I've listened to their music.
Okay.
Fair enough. Let's go.
In a similar sense, I do not care for either band, but I have a certain amount of familiarity, and so
It's gonna be like a 5-minute episode, if not.
yeah. So I assume you're arguing in favor of your chosen side, that presumably one of these bands is better than the other.
Yes, in favor.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure there's been a breach of trust today.
Should we flip a coin again, or how's that
Just
gonna
go off
work?
the last coin toss.
All right.
Well, I won that
first?
one,
Okay.
so I'll go first. I would ask our gracious moderator on this topic. May I waste your time too? And it is a bit of a waste of time to compare Green Day to Blink-182, because Green Day is better in just about every way. Green Day emerged from the late 80s to early 90s Bay Area punk scene with a couple indie records leading into the 90s, including the fabulous 1991 album Kerplunk, before blowing the floodgates wide open with 1994's Dookie. And Dookie is truly one of the great albums of the 90s, and can stand toe-to-toe with any other big albums of the 90s, or any other decade, really. Without that album, though, we would likely not have the pop-punk craze of the 90s and 2000s, and Blink would be nowhere as successful as they ended up being. Because I know from our Beatles Stone episodes that our opponent is a numbers guy, I'm going to hit you all with a similar more is more argument here. Green Day has sold over 75 million albums compared to Blink's 50 million. Green Day has been nominated for 20 Grammy Awards and has won 5 of them, and Blink has been nominated for 1 Grammy, which they did not win. And on AcclaimMusic.net, which aggregates top lists and reviews for albums to form a master list of the 3,000 greatest albums of all time, Dookie is sitting pretty at 320, and American Idiot's 444, still in the top 500, and Blink has 1 album at 1684. When you compare commercial success and critical reception, it's truly no contest. Green Day is by far the better, more creative, and more influential band.
All right, Lando.
Do we have the time to listen to you whine? No, we don't, Mucci. We got to keep this under an hour. And listen, these two bands are great. I listened to both growing up, and they're heavily responsible for wanting to play music, play in bands, played shows throughout high school and college. I can't even pretend that Green Day is a bad band like I did with the Rolling Stones. But I can honestly say that...
Just had to get that in there.
I can honestly say that what I liked initially about Green Day has never changed. And it's never changed in the sense that they've been dulling out the very similar sounds that they got away with back when, with American Idiot being their grand opus. I mean, I love that band, I love that album, I love Dookie, sure. But after that, I mean, I couldn't really get through Uno Dos Tre. I mean,
I've never listened to that.
Wait, is that a name of an album?
It's
that's
three
different albums. Okay,
I've never listened to it.
They're
either.
wasted albums. Blink-182, however, has evolved since breaking on the scene as three immature kids that made crude jokes throughout their set list. Their music got more complicated, their lyrics became more meaningful, and lately, they've managed to appeal with the youth even as they aged out. I fell in love with Blink-182 with albums such as Enema of the State or Dude Ranch, but Blink kept my love with their newer albums. Furthermore, their dual vocals of Mark and Tom, and then later Mark and Matt, blends together so perfectly, whereas Billy Joel kind of has to carry the day.
Billy Joel?
Joe, sorry if I stumbled there.
Because that'd be a great episode.
There's more of a collaboration that leads to interesting sounds, lyrics, and music, whereas a lot of Green Day songs sound very similar due to the fact that Billy Joe is their guy. So then we throw Travis Barker into the mix, and I mean, he's a pretty good drummer. And he adds an interesting take on how to keep a beat, whereas Trey Cool is, meh. He's no Ringo. So much like the Beatles, Blink-182, regardless of which Blink combination you want, has individuals that could be, and have been, their own musical act. Mark started up Plus 44 with Travis. Tom started up Angels and Airwaves. Travis had
Is that a positive thing?
Yeah. Travis had a drumming hip-hop album, and then he's been doing stuff with Machine Gun Kelly lately, which I know our moderator likes.
Hell yeah. Cleveland boy.
Green Day may have came first and paved the way, which I absolutely respect. But Blink-182 made that type of music accessible and approachable to a wider audience while relating to their listenership spanning decades and generations.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I don't understand why we are doing this topic second, so clearly it's the better one, but all right, go off, guys. Yeah, so to give a little structure to this, and some of this stuff was touched on in your openings. I guess kind of I want to have you guys give a short statement of what their sort of vibe is. We talked a little bit about progeny and stuff, and some direct comparisons of spin-off projects, other artists they've collaborated with since then, quality of those, changes
Or
over
if they
time.
have or not.
Yeah, I don't know that actually that Green Day has done. Did they have a Is Foxborough Hot Dogs there?
That's them.
Right. Okay.
So they're
just
not
them?
collaborating. They're
Different-
just pretending
No,
to be a
that's
different band.
I think the Grammy stuff you already handled me to do that, but I am kind of interested in like I said, the statement, maybe what their typical prototypical fan is like, I guess sort of like what their live shows are like. I think it could be a good element to talk about. So, anyways, from the top, tell me about their vibe. What general is there a thesis or sort of overarching theme?
I mean, if you talk about a vibe of like, mid '90s, just like kind of pretty chill, like pop punk music, the whole Dookie album is pretty great vibe for that. Like it's a great summer album. When I Come Around, I think later the song that I picked is my favorite, Green Day song, and that just sounds like a cozy '90s blanket, really, of just like summer, and it's in the Bay Area.
You want a cozy blanket in the summer?
Yeah, I was gonna say
cozy '90s blanket in the summer. I do.
No, so I would say that Blink is just a more fun type of atmosphere. They're taking, they're not really taking themselves serious. They're playing this pop punk music, but they know that they're not punk. Mm-hmm. They're not pretending to be hardcore punk. They're pop punk. They're lively. Green Day is trying to be punk.
The lack of seriousness is a bit of an issue that I do have with them. In
want
terms
them
of
to be
comparing
more-
them to Green Day.
You want them to be more professional?
A
You want
little
them to wear a red tie?
I mean, if they're not taking this...
Yeah, can I just jump in here real quick? So I mean, that's the casualness to the seriousness of it is a big thing. I mean, I always associated like blink-182 with dude bros because all the bros I know fucking love them. In my life, the biggest fan that I know is one of the only people that regularly walks around without a shirt on. I mean, he can get away with it because he has abs and stuff, but that's in my mind. That's sort of the vibe. The kind of people that
Blink-182
resonates
fan?
with. Yeah. So Blink at
With
least puts on a veneer.
SoCal vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what,
They both have the SoCal vibes then.
So I mean, if those are both SoCal vibes, I mean, I think very represents two different pieces of it. I don't think Blink, wears eyeliner or whatever the hell's going on in the Green Day music videos. But yeah, I mean, I think that's really a really good distinction there, and let someone who likes to be a fan kind of pick between the two.
When I say it's like SoCal, I mean like they're influenced by local bands. They reference local bands in their songs. I think they were all like skater boys. They're all
They said, see you later, boys.
They're going to skate parks and they're doing the SoCal vibe. I mean, that's...
Is Angels and Airwaves a SoCal vibe?
No, that's a
Not
different...
really
That's altogether.
I don't know what that vibe is.
So yeah, I mean, it was around. I watched MTV and all that stuff back then, but it never really hooked me. Like I said, neither did Blink-182, and I think it just at the time, like they were. I think Green Day was just like so popular and just consumed everything, and like nothing will ruin a band for me more than having to listen to them all the fucking time. Which is why I think I might have given Blink-182 a chance when I was younger, but through college again, my good friend who walks around without a shirt on, just would always play it at every fucking party.
What's his name?
Oh, it's Rob.
Damn you, Rob.
Oh, we love
You're costing
Rob.
me points here.
Yeah. Just had a second kid. Great guy. If I happen to hear like American
Oversaturation.
Idiot like all the fucking time, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not a good song.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
There are good songs on that album.
Yeah.
I mean, those, American Idiot and Boulevard are...
Overplayed.
They're very
a little.
overplayed.
Yeah.
Very, very overplayed.
But now,
But I think...
you revisit it.
Even now, I think they're still... It's just... I kind of get what you're saying, Pat. That they were so overplayed, and there's other songs on that album that were just really good songs.
Yeah.
That,
Well, let's dig into that. I mean, do you guys want to talk about what your favorite songs are by each one, or what you put forth as their best song, better than the other band?
Well, I did mention my Warm 90s Blanket song, but...
that's a song?
Aside from that one, does Blink have a 9-minute mini rock opera inspired by The Who? No, they don't. Green Day actually has 2. And one is a...
Redundant.
Well, they're both actually really good songs. I know you think that.
You're asking, does Blink...
Jesus of Suburbia.
Does
is a
Blink
great song.
have a Freebird? No, they don't.
No, they don't. But Green Day does.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
But Green Day has
Big flex.
2 9-minute multi-part rock opera songs. American Idiot and the album that follows it also are rock operas. But I don't see like that kind of experimentation with Blink. A kind of complex arrangement with multiple different songs in one, like Green Day does. So I think maybe their best song might be Jesus of Suburbia.
I would agree with that. But that was in 2005. So,
In your position, then, Lando, is that it's the way that Blink has evolved, in your mind, that is superior.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of like a what have you done for me lately kind of thing. Like that was in height, Jesus of Suburbia, great song. And yeah, it's like I said in my opening, it's their masterpiece. And then they kind of fell off and they had these albums that were just not as good. And a lot of them, I mean, you said that you hadn't heard those albums, right, Mucci?
I haven't heard Uno Dos Tres. I think I heard Revolution Radio. I didn't hear the one that came out like last year or the year before. Mm-hmm. But do you like? I mean, now I'm talking to Orlando. Do you?
Thank you.
Do you like the 2 new Blink albums?
Yes.
You do.
I do.
thought you didn't.
No. I do.
Okay.
I didn't. So at first, I struggled with Tom DeLonge leaving the band, and then Matt Skiba coming in.
But he's your Alien guy now, so you're.
But
He inspired you to get into Aliens, as you said that episode. to get into Aliens
I don't
by
think he inspired
talking
me
about them on a podcast.
I'm pretty sure that's an exact quote. I mean, I think
so, yeah.
if we just want to layer in that exact clip from the other show here.
You didn't inspire me to get into aliens, whatever that means.
So yeah, they've certainly done other stuff, but I mean, are you really going to sit here and defend and say that Angels and Airwaves was like a good progression of them?
Their first couple of albums, I loved Angels and Airwaves. I thought it was a great addition to Tom DeLonge's music.
At the time I liked Shopping at American Eagle, but it's not good. Mucci can relate, being about the same age.
No, so I think that, over time, Blink has gone from having, the original members, Mark, Tom, and Scott, I think his name, right, Scott? Was it Scott?
I don't remember the original drummer.
I think it was Scott, his original drummer, who was just doing straight punk beats the entire time. It was for the first album. I think Travis came, like, the second album or third or whatever. But
it's like your favorite band of all time. You don't know?
Shut up.
Well, there's a precedent for being really unprepared to talk about music, so
Travis
I'll let it slide.
Travis came, and then so their music evolved a little bit more with Travis coming in, and he's doing all these like crazy things on the drums that are just adding so much value to their music. Then they blow up, and then in high school, when I went to high school, you guys are a little bit younger, but around the same time that American Idiot came out, this Blink self-titled album came out. I think maybe
a year before, maybe.
I think a year or two before.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. It was like way different than stuff that they had done. It was more serious. They got more complex with their music and their lyrics. And
so is that your favorite album then?
No, though. What I'm getting at is what I thought was my favorite song, Down.
Mm-hmm.
Like hitting hard with the guitar in the intro, and then like a solid drum beat coming in, and then Mark and Tom, blending together their vocals. Tom singing the majority of the song, and then Mark just basically singing down throughout. But that was my favorite song for the longest time. But they broke up. Then they got back together after Travis had his plane crash or whatever.
Yeah, again, I'm an idiot, so you be a little less coy about that. We're talking about Angels and Airwaves shitting the bed.
No. Blink broke up. There was Travis was like involved in a plane crash.
Oh, really? I thought you were just being
metaphorical. No. They broke up for like 20 years or 10 years or something like that, right? And then Travis has a plane. He's in a plane that crashes. It's like a private jet or some shit. Crashes. They all get together to like wish him well while he's recovering, and then they get back together. And that's when they came together for Neighborhoods, which was a comeback album. And then after that, they kind of separated again. But like everything after, even with Matt Skiba's, I thought was pretty good.
So what was your next favorite song then after Down?
I don't know.
So it used to be my favorite song, and then all this other stuff, and then I don't know.
Well, I have a couple listed here. I just didn't want to.
You're rambling.
I didn't want.
Rambling.
I didn't want to ramble. That's what I was trying to get away from. After Midnight from Neighborhoods was a really good song. It starts off as a simple drum beat, just strong, simple drum beat. A guitar, like a clean guitar riff comes in, and it's just kind of like a chill, like bob your head, listen to this good song.
All right, so let's take a real quick break so we can actually listen to that in the studio, and then we'll hop back in.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm serious, actually. Yeah. All right, thanks for that. Got a little bit better taste. The whole point of this is to try and convince me that I should give one of these bands a closer listen. So,
and just for the record, I would like to introduce that as Blink's exhibit number 1.
Blink is
You're off duty. You don't have to speak like that. Are there any objections?
I would just object because, I would like to have you hear one of my songs.
That's not a proper objection, so...
Yeah.
We're not in court.
So, denied, but yeah, I guess... Yeah, Mucci, what song are you going to play for me?
When I come around, so why don't we listen to a little bit of Jesus of Suburbia? Not the whole thing, but
God.
some of it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Back in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, and we're back. So thanks, Mucci, for playing that. You got a little plus minus. I know I didn't do this for Lando, but I like that they actually used some sense of metaphor, and then instead of just describing exactly, somewhat literally, what happens. But also, oh my God, that piano is so far out of place. It does not belong at all. It just, reduces it to the level of some Ben Folds 5 bullshit. So okay, I kind of see what you're getting at in Lando. With what you played, I kind of get how you're talking about how Blink evolved from some of their first albums. So.
And I'm not trying to compare. I didn't know that we were going to play Jesus of Suburbia right after. I'm not trying to compare.
Well, you already admitted that they don't have a whole rock opera.
That's true, but still, in terms of like comparing one song to another. I don't know if After Midnight would have been the song that I would have compared to that one. But, I mean, you get what I'm talking about, that they're not, giving off...
After Midnight, didn't that song come out like 50 years ago?
Yeah, like maybe
After
10.
Midnight.
Oh.
What the fuck? Who sings that song?
I have no idea.
It's a thing.
I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's not by Blink, though.
Maybe it's a cover. I don't know. Red Hot Chili Peppers covered,
Stevie Wonder?
Higher Ground. Yeah, it was fantastic. Okay, let's bring this back to the center. We're not trying to make this an hour and a half. So, you guys talked about your favorite best songs. Have they progressed over albums? I'm not going to waste any time talking about Grammys. But yeah, so have either of you, both of you, seen your favorite or the other band on tour?
I've only seen Blink, actually, at Riot Fest.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ouch. What does that say about his position?
Well, I think we're all music lovers here.
And he's the music lover.
Except for other
He won't
bands.
even see Green Day in concert.
I haven't yet. I know they
have
played at Wrigley Field a few years ago.
Yeah, I saw them at Wrigley.
You saw
You
them?
did?
Yeah,
So you've seen both.
Well, what's
Yeah.
that say about you?
I already said
Maybe
that I
he
love
loves
both bands.
Okay.
Mucci doesn't love Green Day enough
He's
to watch
me
them.
in the Beatles versus Rolling Stones episode. He loves both bands.
Love both bands.
Yeah. So, let's just talk about Blink then. Lando, when did you see Blink? Where did you see Blink?
I've seen them with Tom, and then I've seen them with Matt Skiba as well.
Wait,
Are
I've actually
these
seen
friends
them
of
twice.
yours?
I've seen Blink twice, and I've never seen Green Day.
Ooh, ouch.
Two different festivals, actually. Walla and Riot Fest, right? Yeah.
So you're talking about Tom DeLonge. I thought you were just saying like, oh yeah, me and my buddy Tom went and saw Blink.
So without Tom, with Tom.
I've gotten a couple things signed by Tom DeLonge. My brother had his guitar signed by Tom DeLonge and Angels and Airwaves. He had no idea who they were when we went, and I was like starstruck, and I didn't say a damn thing to him because I was like literally starstruck. This was like, I don't know. Might have been in high school, maybe in like freshman year of college or something. I was like starstruck. My brother didn't care about him whatsoever, so he had a full-on conversation with Tom, and I was like immediately jealous afterwards.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Shannon got a picture and a photo sign with Flint Flossie, one of our favorite artists, and at the time I didn't really know, but she was definitely starstruck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for another episode.
Do you actually, speaking of starstruck, do you remember when we saw that one movie? We saw 2001: A Space Odyssey, and we walked by Adam Scott because he was.
We had to push him out of the way.
Wait,
I was like, man, should I go talk to? Because he was like, there was a line forming to take pictures.
Yeah,
of
there was
Scott.
like 20 people waiting, and we're like,
walked right
you're
by
kind
him.
of in front of our theater for
Yeah,
the
it was right in front of our
midnight
theater.
showing of 2001.
I was like, I want to kind of say hi or something, but I don't want to. I don't know.
But yeah, so
I was
literally, I
kinda
had to
clammed up
cut
there.
in front of him.
You clammed up?
Yeah, I clammed up.
Clammed
oh
up.
no,
Hashtag Mucci Mr. Clam.
the clam.
Yeah. Coming back to
Did you guys-
103, the clam. WCLM.
So did you guys actually meet him or what? What happened?
No, we didn't. We
were
swept
clamming.
by him.
Oh,
We're
you
too
saw-
starstruck.
We were in the space, yeah.
Oh.
Also, I really wanted to see 2001.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite movies.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. I met Tom
In
DeLonge.
terms of
But that's-
art, I
we
don't
should
think
talk about
either
that
one of these
sometime.
bands really comes to the scale of ambition that 2001 is. But relative to one another, I think we can still appreciate these bands. So
They're not the Stanley Kubrick of music.
yeah, it looks not right now, but I would like to hear that argument
That argument,
later.
who's the Stanley Kubrick of music?
Yeah, we'll docket it.
Like Bob Dylan or something?
We'll docket it. Yes. Okay.
We'll talk about
All right.
So
Something's going on over here. I'm completely out of it. I have no idea what's going on. It's a meeting
Lando,
of
you're
the
the only one
minds over
that's
there.
seen Green Day.
Yeah, I've seen Green Day. It was a fun
Was it
show.
like a Warped Tour thing, or
No, it was just them. They played with who did they?
Oh, this
Someone
was at the
opened
Cubs
for them.
Stadium?
Yeah, it was in Wrigley Field.
I forgot that you
I
went to
can't
that.
remember who opened for them.
You went like in 2017, whatever it was. Like 2
Yeah,
years
it's
ago? I forgot that you went
so
to that.
yeah, so it was like a spur of the moment thing too. So my brother, one of my brother's buddies had tickets, and I guess whoever else was going to go with him bailed, and then he invited my brother, and they both invited me, and so we went, and it was awesome. It was a great show. They were fun, but I feel like the difference between a Blink and a Green Day show, if we want to compare, I mean, Mucci, you can't speak to that, but I can. It's just Green Day. I think they
feel
take-
ready to object if you think Lando's out of line
No,
here.
he knows. He knows I'm right on this. Green Day just feels so much like bigger because they know that they're bigger. They're a bigger band. They've been around longer, and I feel like they just put this so massively
Check
produced.
mark in their favor? I say.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's the opposite. And
Bigger band?
It's the opposite because I know our moderator made this exact same.
More is more, he said.
No,
Yeah,
he said he
more
made
is
this
more.
exact same argument during the Beatles and Rolling Stones. The authenticity. All right, when Green Day performs, when I saw them and everything I've seen after American Idiot, it's very overly like produced, and it's just a whole production, and every step he takes is like
In every move he makes.
it's all planned. It's
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of people watching them,
It's like girls going to the airport. Like who, paid actors.
They're paid to be there.
I don't know. So both bands have been on the Warped Tour, and so I just did a quick little dip into
Right.
the history there.
When was the last time Green Day went to the Warped Tour?
Well, at least
Forgotten
as
their
of
roots.
2016, they were one of the headliners, and they lit their stage on fire and kept playing while the stage was burning down. So I mean, yeah,
2016?
yeah.
Warped Tour? Didn't we go to Warped Tour
I've never been
2016?
to Warped Tour.
I think my brother actually might have been there.
You've been to
my
Warped
older
Tour.
brother.
No, I've never been to Warped Tour.
You never been to Warped Tour?
No?
Oh, you know what? It's Riot Fest. It's Riot Fest that we consistently go to. That's what.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I forgot about Warped Tour actually.
My new place is within walking distance of Riot Fest, so we got a little
Oh.
base.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Have you gone?
Yeah.
They're all the same.
I
Whatever.
don't know.
Just the different places, different
I'm
bands.
losing my fucking
yeah.
mind.
The last time I went to
we're
Warped
way
Tour,
off track.
the last time I went to Warped Tour, I
just-
saw Angels and Airways. Actually, I was like front row for them. It was a good
Well,
show.
Glad you're
Also-
for punishment.
Also, Tom DeLonge's guitar, his Gibson guitar, it's just like an amazing design. I don't know if you guys have seen this guitar. He's got like different variations of it, but it looks like the guitar I have right here. It's
This boy?
this is the cheaper version. Obviously, this is Epiphone version. He's got a Gibson that's all brown. Don't try to play it.
So I
right
can
now.
just do a little-
Don't try to play it right now. It's a brown Gibson that's got like a racing stripe down the middle, and he's got different variations of it. It's just a really cool guitar.
So that kind of speaks, I guess, to the stage presence, with what they put on. I mean, Mucci, other than the red tie, what's Green Day, what's their style, visual style like then?
He's never seen them.
I've never seen them. Yeah, I've never seen them.
You've never seen a picture? You didn't do any
Never
kind of
seen pictures of
Googling
them.
prior to...
I do feel like that American Idiot style was the very like suits and the red ties. It was like Trey Cole wearing like a suit with like suit shorts, right? I
Yeah.
think. And like the
he's so
eyeliner, but it was
cool.
like kind of like
Little
an
Oliver
influential
Twist.
look, and yeah, that was kind of
They're from the Bay Area. Why are they doing this whole, British schoolboy rebellious shit?
Yeah.
It's like ACDC.
It's I mean,
Your
it's
favorite band.
To not give away the judgment, but I do feel like Blink, they are who they are, and I don't think they pretend to be anything different. Like, you can believe that, like, okay, they're just a bunch of fucking dudes from Sophie. But I mean, to the Green Day's credit, like they put out the rock opera, they like aspire to make something.
Yes.
And so that's why there's the image. That's why they spent the time to put the metaphor together and try and construct something on Jesus' Suburbia. But I think they're very different in that respect. Like,
yes,
I kind of think Blink is just kind of like playing what comes to mind. A Blink track, lay it down in the studio in 30 minutes. I feel like Jesus' Suburbia might take it a little bit longer to plan out.
Yeah.
Well, I would also say that, I mean, longer, but there's also way more people involved. There's...
There?
Huh?
Are there? Do you have a quote on that?
No, I know.
Green Day.
No, so they have an extra, what's his name? Something White. You know what I'm talking about?
Shaun White.
Yeah, Shaun White's on that album.
Jack White.
No, I could be completely wrong. There's another guitarist that they never name, pretty much, which kind of sucks for him. But he's from that album on. He's their second guitarist. There's also a lot more vocals. They have horns that also play. They have keyboard. There's so many more people that are involved in that album, which is great. It's just that it's not.
I'm a sucker for production.
That's
why Sufjan.
There's so much that goes on
boy.
that, and they do a performance that's perfectly rehearsed, and it's a play of sorts. And I mean, yeah, like you said, Blink is just
story,
those dudes
tied together.
Yeah,
and I think that's more authentic. And by authentic, I mean that they kept the edge.
Now, I think it's pretty. You didn't say it, but I think definitely blink-182 fucks.
Blink has more.
That's gotta be Mucci. I don't think if you can come against that at all. I think that's kind of an inarguable point. Something you've got to concede.
Sure.
Travis Barker is dating one of the Kardashians right now.
It's true.
So I mean, I don't know who Trey Cool has, but.
We should look at who is Trey.
Are they all married? I know
whatever.
Billy Joe's been married forever,
since
Does he have
94
kids?
or something.
Does he fuck?
He has a couple kids, yeah. So he must have.
Yeah, I guess there's proof.
There's proof that he has.
Yeah.
But does Blink really have more?
Is he just taking off his red tie? Is he just taking off his red tie backstage? Fucking
long day
laying
at the
dong. I don't know. I have not seen that. I've never seen him live. I've never been backstage.
Yeah, well, this isn't, in the case of two versions of the same source material, like Beatles v. Stones. I think this all kind of falls out from your first statements about their vibes of the more casual nature of Blink versus the studied, kind of nature of Green Day.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're strictly casual because, I mean, through the years, they started off as, they weren't even, their live shows from because I was obsessed with Blink and somewhat less so now, but I would watch YouTube videos like crazy of their performances and stuff, and they sucked live when they were first starting off. Blink just was they were messing everything up. They were drunk on stage and just
casual.
Super casual.
I mean, who doesn't like to get drunk at a formal event? But
it does sound
but
kind of funk,
though. They were.
I'll give that to them.
They were what they were.
They
They had a great time playing their shows. They made jokes. They were at that time. Mark and Tom were best of friends, and that chemistry was clear on stage. They're having a great time, and now over the years, even when Tom was with them, they just got better at their instruments because they realized that this was their job. They got better at their instruments. They got more creative. Everything started becoming more produced and better and appealed to a wider audience. I mean, they as casual as they kept
they
it
sold
before.
out.
Well, I was afraid you were. I was afraid that's how you were gonna take it.
I mean, you walk up to it.
They got better at their instruments and they became better musicians.
Yeah, that's fair. So, having had all that, should we move to closing?
Yeah, unless you have any other questions.
Do both sides rest?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
With my exhibit entered into evidence, yes. I don't think Mucci entered his into evidence, so
You just have way more trial experience than I do. I didn't
Objection.
even know to do that.
we'll toss that out.
Oh. Who goes first?
Yeah, I've never stepped foot in court like a day in my life.
I'll
How does
I'll let
this
you go
work?
first.
Okay, let me go first. So I guess
I'll
instead
save for
of,
rebuttal.
I guess instead of going into the who has won more Grammys and who is more critically acclaimed like I did before, I will go into more of the musicianship, and at least in terms of creativity and experimentation. And as our moderator alluded to, there is a bit more experimentation and more production and more that goes into a lot of, or some of the more modern Green Day albums. In particular, American Idiot, right? I mean, there's...
How is that more modern? It's
Well,
2005.
Well, okay.
All right, strike that from the record.
We're talking about a progression, though. I mean, compared to
I will
their
completely
early-
wipe that from my mind that you said it.
You can kind of pretend that they stopped after that album, just like you can
I mean,
kind of.
modernity
No,
died
a
when
lot
they
of
dropped
people
the
can kind of
A-bomb.
pretend
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
The modern age died when the atomic bomb was dropped, so I don't know what you're talking about 2005 being modern.
All right. In any event,
Sorry, I'm still
so
stuck in the free will
our
determinism philosophy.
the emblematic Green Day albums or Green Day songs that I have mentioned do, I think, have more experimentation and more creativity to them than a lot of maybe the Blink albums and songs that Orlando mentioned,
So
like Speed of
contemporary.
Suburbia, the contemporaneously. Yeah, if you were to compare Blink's self-titled to Green Day's American Idiot, which album has these multi-part songs and this rock opera form that I don't know many other real punk bands that. Well, I guess there are. I don't know any other pop punk.
Is
bands
this
that have
actually
done
your
a
closing,
rock
or are you
opera.
just spitballing here?
I'm spitballing. I did not prepare a closing.
All right, so you want to sum that up in one sentence here? Carry us home.
Completely contradicts himself.
Green Day's won more Grammys. They're more critically acclaimed. There's more care and attention that goes into their music than Blink.
Says he won't talk about their Grammys. And talking about their Grammys.
Okay.
All right, Lando, take a big breath, and please tell me you had something prepared to
No.
sum up everything.
I'm gonna spitball.
I mean, this entire episode's been off the cuff, right? Because of course,
Yeah, we didn't.
everyone
we thought
was
we were going to
prepared.
talk about Star Wars.
This
And
is
Game of
something we
Thrones.
weren't prepared for, so it's just I literally crying. Mucci makes a point, then contradicts himself and says, "Well, actually, I don't know if that's right."
We really have top minds here in the studio today.
I guess what I'll say in closing is that Blink evolved as a band. They went through their immature phase of these kids from Southern California.
Just young, dumb, full of cum.
I mean, your words, not mine, but and pretty much, yeah. So they had fun on stage. They did what they liked to do. They were who they were. They didn't try to be anything else. They played music that they liked. They called out bands that they liked in their songs. And as time went on, they got better. They lyrically, their songs were more complex. Their music became better with different structures and styles, and something that Green Day didn't really do, considering that, yeah, American Idiot was a great album, but then they revert back to everything that they did before, and a lot of their albums sound like the same thing. We didn't touch on it throughout this whole thing, but we all know that Green Day pretty much just knows 3 chords, right? Like, you guys all know that every song that they have is a 3-chord structure, with the exception of American Idiot, but I've already mentioned that there was like 20 people that worked on that musically, and then like 50 other people that worked on it for arranging everything.
Does
So
Blink have more chords?
yeah, there's a lot more to it.
Can we fact check that?
Let's
I
do
think we
it.
might need to get a
Let's
subject
do it.
matter expert in here.
I could probably pick up the guitar and play something for Green Day off the top of my head. Anyway, so Blink is just more authentic. They are who they are. They don't try to be something that's tough or punk or serious. They don't take themselves too seriously. They have fun on stage. They relate to the youth. Even now that they're like 40-something, they come out with their latest album,
Sounds
9.
kind of predatory.
No.
They feed on the youth.
They come out
They
with
crave.
their latest album 9 is like, I mean, it was playing all over the place, and okay, I'm not going to quote it, and I don't know where it's from, but I know I read at the time when 9 came out, there was an article or two that I read that was basically saying that's, this is like a new song for the new generation of these teens with angst. So I think that says a lot about Blink's ability to relate to the kids of today that are skater punks and,
Said see you
community.
later, funks.
Is Blink a better band than Green Day?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, I'm ready to make my judgment. So like I said, Mucci, I really appreciate you kind of digging into things other than American Idiot because, that song just completely turned me off to anything Blink, anything Green Day. I'm going to call it Blink Day at least, if I haven't already.
Blink-182.
Yeah, oh my god, I
Prior
fucking
to
hate
that, he was
song.
really
I
turned on.
appreciate, tell me a little bit more about that. In the same way, like Lando, I haven't listened to a single thing outside of the first 2 albums because that's what Rob likes. That's all he plays at 3 in the fucking morning. Once the party's done.
Mucci. Mucci was very confused when you said Rob.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of the first 2 albums. What were the first 2 Blink
I don't
albums?
know. Whatever the fucking early Blink is. It's
a-
Blink Fest.
like
It's
Enema,
literally
take
from
off your
1 to
pants and
3 in the
jacket?
morning.
Oh, that's album 5, isn't there?
Well, I think he had mentioned that earlier, so I thought maybe that's the one he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever.
Anyone in the state?
But
Great
anyway, I think both you really offered some insight into what's beyond, what's the story beyond just me having listened to the radio or been subjected to it involuntarily at a party. So for me, what it comes down to, I think, is the progress and the development shown, and I think the sense of maturity gained. And so after this episode, I am actually going to go out and try and listen to some of the more Blink stuff. I think that that's actually something I could potentially enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I don't have the fondest feelings for Green Day to begin with, and while I can start to appreciate, some of the work that went into those original albums, I'm not sure I'd really enjoy digging back in and have to just that cognitive dissonance to get that completely bad taste out of my mouth and be able to give it a fair shot. I'm not sure I'm up to it. So, in a surprise, because Lando thinks I hate him, I actually am going to give you...
Today. I sensed a little bit of hard feelings today. I feel like when we came in here...
Oh my god, don't be a bad loser. Don't be a sore loser.
Wait, I thought I
I'm
was going to
giving
win
you
this.
the point.
Okay.
This is like when I was giving him the point in the Beatles when he just was talking about the movie yesterday for some reason.
And, I cannot... In
It's
any
content.
sense,
It's all content.
Yeah, it's
so I'm giving Lando a point here.
Thank you.
The victory, Mucci. I cannot by any means ignore the sort of way you unfolded Green Day, and so I'm going to award you 1/10 of a point.
okay. Thank you for
It's
my
way
brilliant
better.
closing. Right?
That's
Yeah.
way better than the, what was it, 1/100th of a point that I got the other time?
The,
He is
aliens
still relitigating the fucking
He's
Ghost
gonna
versus
appeal that
aliens.
decision. He's gonna appeal that.
Yeah, well, we're waiting. All right, well, thank you both so much. I appreciate this didn't devolve into name calling.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
really come up to that line in a lot of the other episodes. So yeah, great. This one's in the box. The next episode, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be an argument of PlayStation versus Xbox.
Yeah,
Another
correct.
very contentious topic. I think a lot of people are divided. And if I'm looking at my notes correctly, we actually have a special guest host coming in. Dear friend and friend of the pod, Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie's
So
going to be...
yeah,
It's
really
gonna be,
something.
on Xbox's side, I believe.
Yeah, all he does is play Destiny.
Yeah. So it'll just be a nice treat to have a fresh voice in here, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. So, anyways, until next time, this has been OTR, a friendly debate.
See ya.
See ya.